Hi, this is Cynthia. Welcome to Taking Better Photos with Your iPhone and iPad course. This class has 5 videos. Video number 1 is 4 easy things to improve your photos right away. In video number 2, we're going to look at capturing a moment, some tools to help you do that, and how that can improve your photography. In video 3, we're going to take a look at the different camera modes on your iPhone and your iPad. There's not just one camera. In video 4, we're going to look at your flash and its different options, and to flash or not to flash. And in video 5, we're going to examine the most difficult lighting situation and how your iPhone and iPad camera can help you with that problem. Okay, so there's a lot to cover, so let's get started with 4 easy things to improve your photos. Tap on your camera icon. It's most likely on your home screen. The first thing we want to look at are setting your focus and exposure. As of right now, the two functions are linked together. When you set your focus, you're also setting your exposure. The default settings are in the center of the screen. You can see that my duckie's bill is nice and sharp. The duck in the background looks a little bit softer, because by default the center part of the screen is the sharpest. If you do nothing, that is where the sharpest part of your photos will always be. But what if I want the duck in the background to be the sharpest? I tap on the spot I want to be sharp. Now that duck's bill is sharper than the duck in front. If you look at it closer, you can see that the background duck has a square around its beak. That square tells me where I set the focus and exposure. So take a moment and try this on your camera screen. Tap pause on this video, then tap around to change where the focus and exposure are set. When you're ready to continue, tap play. Do you see the sun icon next to the square? This is how you can adjust your exposure a bit. This is the second tip for improving your photos. Put your finger anywhere on the screen, and when you see the sun icon, swipe up and down. If you swipe up, the image will get lighter. If you swipe down, it'll get darker. This is done before you take the photo and is super helpful for any low light situation. I often use this feature in dark restaurants. I prefer it to using the flash because it allows the ambient light to still be seen. If you use a flash in a low light situation like a large restaurant, the ambient light tends to turn really dark or all the way black. But remember, you cannot swipe up and down until you tap to focus and the square comes up. Only then will you see that little sun icon. The third tip I have for you is AEAF lock. Those letters mean auto exposure, autofocus lock. If you hold your finger on any area where you want to lock the exposure and lock the focus, just leave your finger there for a moment. The AEAF yellow box will appear to confirm the focus and exposure are locked into place. This is especially handy if you want to lock in focus and exposure on something that might have a lot of movement, like this cyclist. In this case, I anticipated where the cyclist was going to be, and I set the AEAF lock on that spot. To unlock the AEF lock, just tap anywhere on the screen. English fashion photographer David Bailey once said, "Anybody can be a great photographer if they zoom in enough on what they love." So let's talk about how you can zoom in with your iPhone and iPad cameras. But first let me mention that there's an old photographer's saying, zoom with your feet. In other words, if you can safely move in closer to take a photograph, do that. However, that might not always be possible. Maybe you're photographing a bird in a tree or your grandson kicking a ball in the middle of the soccer game. However, there is an effective way to zoom in with your iPhone and iPad cameras. In the camera image screen, do you see the button that's white? It has one X with a circle around it. Tap it. Once it's tapped, it turns to 2X and zooms in. You can see that the front duck is now twice the size. If I tap on the 2X again, it'll return to 1X or the default distance. If I rest my finger on the 1X or the 2X button, a zoom scale will pop up. Now I can slide my finger along that half circle scale to more exactly adjust my zoom. If you have an older iPhone or an iPad device, you might see a straight line slider instead of the half circle scale. In this video, we learned 4 easy things to immediately improve your photographs. We learned how to set exposure and your focus. We learned that with just a quick, easy swipe, you can adjust your lighting. Third, we covered AE/AF lock. And last, we covered how to zoom in on your subject. Now, on to video number 2, which is going to give you some tips on how you can improve your iPhone and iPad photography by capturing a moment. There actually are some tools to help you do just that. If you want to check out other classes, go to onebiteatatime.net. We're adding new classes all the time. Bye for now.